Okay, so we've been talking about proportional and non-proportional relationships, and you can find the slope on a graph. And yesterday we had equations, and so let's review that. So to write an equation, we need two main pieces of info. So the first one is m, which is, if you remember, oh my golly, Danny, I am having difficulties with this pen. I'm going to get it to work. Oh, I'm not. Okay, so I'm just going to type it in. So the slope, which is m, and then the y-intercept, which is the b, intercept. And remember, that's where it crosses the y-axis. So if we have, there we go. This is your y-axis. So wherever it touches the y-axis, so if it was like right there, if that was your line, this would be your y-intercept right there. Oh, I'm not going to say it, Danny, but I'm thinking it. This dumb thing. I'm not a professional YouTuber yet. Oh, and there's the cat. This is going great. Okay, if the graph is proportional, we know the equation will be written in y equals mx plus b form. Sorry, I said that wrong, just seeing. Y equals mx. So you just have the slope, which is in front of your x all the time. And my cat is trying to play fetch with me right now. Yeah, it's a weird cat. He plays fetch. However, if the graph is non-proportional, the equation will be written in the form y equals mx plus, and remember it can also be minus, but we just say plus b. Okay, so I'm going to skip down here now, and we're going to find the slope and the y-intercept and the equation for the graph below. So we've already done that when we had an equation. So when we had an equation, for example, we had y equals 2x plus 3. You found it pretty easy that this is always your slope, and then this is your y-intercept. So now we have to look at a graph and be able to do that. And you can do that because you've already found the slope of a graph. You already took a test over it and did great. Some people just forget to count by twos here, or you forget that this one's negative. So if we find the slope on here, I'm going to put a dot here and here. You can put them other places. So I'm going to go up 2 because they're counting by twos, and then over 2 because they're counting by ones. And so I have the slope is 2 over 2, which equals 1. And then the y-intercept, you literally just find your y-axis, so here it is, and just, take your finger down until where it touches it, and it's on the positive 4, so your y-intercept is positive 4. And then you turn that into one of these equations. So we have y equals, and then you put the slope. So in this case, the lowest term is 1. So you can put 1x, but otherwise we don't need the 1 in front of the x because that's a given. We already know that. And then it's plus 4. Okay, let's try this one over here. Go ahead and pause it and see if you can do it yourself. So you should have found that the y-intercept is right here, and that is negative 4. And then you should have found that the slope is negative going from left to right. And it should be negative 2 over 3. If I use that spot there and this spot here, I'm going to go up 2, 4, and then go over 2, 4, 6. And 4, 6 equals 2/3. And so the equation is y equals negative 2/3 x, don't forget the x, minus 4. Most people forget the X on those, or they forget the negative in front of it. Okay, so if we go back up to these notes, now we're going to talk about horizontal lines. Remember, that's where your slope is just 0. Horizontal line is like this. So in a graph of a horizontal line, the Y value, so like your ordered pairs, your X and your Y, the Y value is always constant, meaning it's never going to change. Therefore, the equations always begin with Y equals. So let's flip it over to the back and let's look at this graph on number 3. That's a horizontal line. And so it's on 4. So we know the slope is 0 of a horizontal line. The y-intercept is at the 4. And so the equation is y equals 4. There's no slope, so you don't have the x in this one. So is the graph proportional? No. Why not? It doesn't go through the origin. It is straight, but it does not go through the origin. Okay, now let's go back up and equation the vertical lines. Those are the ones that are up and down. So in the graph of a vertical line, it's the x values that is constant. Therefore, they begin with x equals. So we go back to that one on the other side. And the slope is undefined on a vertical line. The y-intercept, there isn't one. It doesn't touch this anywhere. So there is not one. And the equation is x equals, and then for this one, it is on your -6, so it's x equals -6. And then you should know that it's not proportional. So that was a quick overview, and we are going to practice a lot on these. And I want you to read number 5 and decide which one that represents. And then go ahead and try to create your own real-world situation. So remember, it has to be something that starts at 2, and then you find the slope. And I've given some examples in class talking about like money in a bank and stuff. So try not to use that, but if that's all you can come up with. And we'll talk about these in practice lots tomorrow.